Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hawthorne Homemaker. Today, we are doing one of my favorite homemaking chores, laundry. And we're going to put a little Amish twist on this. Stepping back in time and embracing the simple, sustainable beauty of drying your clothes on a clothesline. If I am being real honest, not too long ago, laundry was one of my least favorite things to do. I would procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate until the laundry pile was sky high and probably had about 8 loads of laundry in it. Since then, there are a lot of things that I have changed, such as doing at least 1 load of laundry a day and getting rid of my dryer. Okay, I know that sounds totally crazy and probably a little backwards. If I hated laundry so much, why in the world would I get rid of one of the things that made it so convenient and so easy and also so warm? I don't know why, ever since I was a little kid, I would watch my Meemaw hang out her towels and her sheets on the clothesline, and I have just always wanted to do that. I have no idea why. She did not hang all of her clothes on the clothesline, unless of course her dryer was broken, but I just found a fascination with it, and I've always wanted to do it. And so when I bought this property with my husband 13 years ago, I was ecstatic that it had a clothesline. But I'm not going to lie, that clothesline went untouched for so many years. I am sure that we will talk about this time and time again, but the year 2022 was such a hard year for me. It was the year my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I was dealing with so much. But it was also the year that me and my son took our first long road trip by ourselves. And one of my favorite stops, and the stop we stayed the longest at, was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Amish country. If you know anything about me, you know that I have had a fascination with the Amish, with their simple and simplistic way of life for years. In fact, in the very beginning of my marriage, there was a point in time where I was researching how to switch religions to become Amish, which, by the way, if you don't know, is very difficult to do. So instead of doing that, I have just tried my best to embrace some of the simple ways of life that they have. Does that mean that I give up my electricity? Absolutely not. If I were being honest, I would be considered more of a Mennonite than a true old order Amish, just because of how they live. I do not give up all of my electricity. I do not give up all of my conveniences. but I do try to slow down and embrace the simplicity and the joy in life. And there's one thing that I have found since February of 2023. It is that hanging my clothes on a line brings me so much joy and peace. I think it's just being outside in nature for so long, but it also gives me such a task. It gives me such reward to go hang out my clothes on the clothesline and to bring them back in. I don't know why. It was always so difficult for me to move my laundry from the washing machine to the dryer until I got rid of my dryer. And now, as soon as my buzzer goes off on my washing machine, I am rushing to go put it in the basket to take it outside and hang it. I honestly don't know why, but if it brings me joy and peace in this season of my life, I promise you I am going to embrace it for everything that I've got. So, one of the things that I have learned most when studying and learning about the Amish and Mennonite cultures, it is that they teach us valuable lessons about simplicity, community, and sustainability. So one of my homemaking and homesteading goals is to be just a little bit like them. No, I'm not going to give up everything, but just embracing all of those philosophies is so important to me. I have found so much joy in adopting this Amish-inspired practice, from the fresh scent of my sun-dried laundry to the meditative process of hanging each and every piece. It's become more than a chore for me. It is such a joyful experience and such a way that I can serve my family by hanging out the laundry. It also gives me time to talk to my pigs and my chickens and just enjoy the nature and the beauty of God's country all around me. Unfortunately, I do hear the hustle and bustle of the cars as they drive by quite frequently, especially in the early mornings when I'm hanging out clothes or later in the evenings when I'm taking in clothes. But that's okay. It is still such a peaceful process for me, and I just love it. I would not trade it for anything. This rickety little clothesline has stood up through countless hurricanes, probably long before I was ever thinking of purchasing this property. But it has sustained my family for the last 13 years, and I am thankful that for over 365 days now, I have been using it every week, almost every day of every week. It has been such a joy to be out here. So, first, let me give you some tips if you are wanting to take the plunge into drying your clothes with air. Number one, if you're not fully committed to this lifestyle, don't get rid of your dryer just yet. I'm not going to lie, I ditched my dryer in February, may have been early January of 2023, but I did not actually get rid of my dryer until October of 2023. I still had it, I just didn't use it. I wanted to make sure that this was a lifestyle change that I was actually going to embrace and love, and not just some silly ADHD kick that I was on because I got a rush of dopamine. Thankfully, it has been so much more than that for me. But please, if you are considering this, keep your dryer for a few months just to make sure that it's really what you want. Second is in the winter months, if you live in a super cold, icy, snowy state, you need to have reinforcement inside. I have 3 drying racks that I use inside if it is below freezing or if it is raining outside. I try my best not to dry my clothes inside because they just don't dry as well. Shirts and pants and socks and underwear are completely fine to dry inside, but towels, unless there is no other way around it, I will not dry my towels inside. They do not do well drying inside. They dry so much better on the line. My next tip is ditch your fabric softener and use vinegar. White distilled vinegar works best, and it helps to get the crunchy out of your clothes. A lot of people do not like clothesline dried clothes because they say they're crunchy. White distilled vinegar will get rid of that. The towels are still not crunchy, not stiff, but they're not soft and fluffy like if you pull them out of a dryer. But when you are taking them off the line, if you'll just give them a good shake, it gets all of that stiffness right out of those towels. But I have never once had anything besides towels have a crunch or any type of stiffness to it since I have been line drying. My family loves it. My husband especially loves it because there's hardly a time where the laundry is not done. But I love it most of all. It just brings me joy. It brings me happiness. And that is something that I think a lot of people are longing for. So for you, it may not be drying your clothes on a line. You're probably going to think that I'm crazy. But whatever it is for you, find something that brings you joy. If it's baking a loaf of bread or just sitting outside and watching the sunrise or the sunset. Whatever it is, find something that brings you joy. Find something that brings you peace. Because if this world teaches us anything, it is that things are hard. Sometimes our situation in life just stinks. Sometimes we are in a season where things just aren't going our way, and we need that joy. We need that peace. And that peace, above all else, comes from God. But just find something that you love. Find something that you are passionate about, and find something that is going to bring you joy, like hanging out clothes on a clothesline brings me joy. I know this video may seem crazy to you, but I hope that it brings you a little bit of encouragement. I'll see y'all later.